Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Capital to the Coast BNI. My name is Mike Manning. Each week, we bring you a local small business success story from one of our 37 chapters in the Triangle and Coastal regions. If you are not familiar with BNI, it is Business Networking International, the world's largest networking organization. Our job each week is to help each other grow our businesses by BNI's best motto, which is Givers Gain. Our local small business success story this week is Ed Leigh with Special Tees Apparel. Ed's in RD10. They are BNI Power Partners. They meet Thursdays at noon at Logan's Roadhouse in Garner. So if you want to meet some very veteran and successful business owners and some entertaining people, but any good meeting is going to be educating and entertaining. So if you want to meet some folks that way, help you grow your business, please go by Logan's Roadhouse in Garner any Thursday at noon. And Ed holds the apparel seat in the chapter. Ed, welcome to the show. How are you?
All right, how you doing, Mike?
Doing good. Glad to have you on the show. So, Ed goes back a long way in BNI, and if you are in the Garner area, you probably know him better as Big Ed, because that's how he is referred to. No, like with a superstar dude, no last name needed. And I know when you're referred to in the room, everybody knows what's going on. So, uh, you have an interesting seat in BNI because we don't have many apparel related people. And I've always thought that many business owners, I don't want to say they get it wrong, but I just don't think they take advantage of what you can provide them to help them get their brand and message out there.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, a lot of times they just don't quite understand, among one thing, the many different things you can use and how you can use them.
Yeah, because we think whenever, in my mind, when I talk to people, I think whenever we think of, oh, I can put my logo on something, we go to a t shirt or a pen. And
Yeah.
there's way more than that. I know you have some really good conversations with clients that need different things.
Yeah, I'd say some of the neatest things I've done recently are eyeglass cleaners for
Oh,
cloths.
love those. Yep.
Yeah, I did some for another BNI chapter, and I also did some Carhartt backpack coolers.
Wow.
They hold, I think it's 20 cans, and they wanted to give them as gifts to their biggest referral partners that bring them in a lot of business.
Yeah.
And they made some great gifts, and it was nice for Christmas presents for them.
Yeah, because sometimes people just need their name out there, but I love the gift idea. I don't know that, and I guess every company's different, whether how they thank their employees or their favorite customers, but I love that backpack. I bet that was sharp looking.
Yeah, in this case, it was a company that does home inspections, so they was thanking the realtors that are their most that they get most of the business from.
Yeah.
And it was really neat because they asked me to make them a little bit different. So like I did embroidery on them, and
Ooh.
like and like on the backpack coolers, I put keeping it cool, with their name on it. And the eyeglass cleaners, I put their name on there, and put keeping it clear.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, I can't have enough eyeglass cleaners, pens, or notepads, it seems.
Exactly.
I go for all that. Uh, so what got you well, here's another thing with apparel. I don't know that people, and granted, we have 4, well, some would say we have 7 seasons here in Raleigh. What, 2
Oh yeah.
winters, 3 summers, or a fall and a spring, stuff like that. I don't think people think through the seasonality of making sure their clients and employees are properly attired.
For real, especially if you have an outdoor business. Like I work with a lot of lawn maintenance companies and construction crews and road maintenance, and in that realm, I can also get the clothing for them that is neon green, neon orange, neon yellow, for safety
Uh,
purposes.
yeah, that does come in handy, and they don't. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people would think, oh, well, they just need the hoodie. Well, no,
Yeah.
no, you got to wear the cover too. So, do you remember your first client with Specialties Apparel?
With specialties, my first one was probably Brian Parada.
Oh, yeah. It's a fellow member of yours. What was he
Yep,
looking
yep.
for?
He wanted shirts with pockets, and he also wanted long sleeve shirts. But then his garages don't have a whole lot of heat in them, so he wanted some good quality hoodies that were heavy duty.
Oh,
So most of the stuff I try to deal with is Gildan because they're such a strong brand, and I sold him some sweatshirts that he likes so much. Every time he has a new employee come in, he says, Ed, hook them up. I want shirts, short sleeve, long sleeve. I want hoodies. And that those hoodies we use the heavyweight Gildan for people that are outdoors, which keeps them nice and warm. And if you have people that are in and out a lot, you might want to go with a medium weight.
mm.
Just we try to cater to your needs. I like to get to know your business and know you before I recommend anything.
Yeah, and it's interesting with a cover like the one I'm wearing and parkas and stuff like that. I don't need thermal. I'm already still thermal. I need lighter, and I can wear that in 20 degrees or 58 degrees. So
Yeah.
I'm sure
And
you find it
the
good.
thing that's nice about stuff like that, you want to make it look sharp.
Mm.
That's where you just put just your logo right on the left chest, embroidered, nothing major, nothing flashy, just right there, so people know when you walk up that you don't have to hand them a card. They know what's going on. It just makes it more professional.
The pocket thing is always interesting because I've never been a pocket guy on a golf shirt or anything. My
Yeah,
father-in-law loves the pocket on everything he wears because he's got 3 pens and 2 lists of things, right? So you've
yeah.
had
Your
that
numbers
question
people
before.
love them.
Are those are those any more to add a pocket?
It usually runs about $1 more a shirt.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
and that is a preferred taste if somebody wants a pocket, right?
yeah. You don't get a whole lot of that now. I mean, that you get a few of them. I'd say maybe 10% of the shirts I sell have a pocket on the front.
Yeah. And then, the other thing that we don't think about for the lawn guys and the roofers and those folks that are out in 100-degree weather, it makes sense for them sometimes to wear long sleeve shirts even though they might be hotter, but I know they take a beating in the sun.
Yes, they do, and we do have shirts that have the UV protection built into them, and we can also get the ones that help uh, take away the moisture. Make it
Oh, yeah.
moisture wicking type thing, and that helps with them a whole lot
Yeah.
because you don't want to put a guy on a roof in a 100% cotton shirt and then it's just stuck to him the rest of the day. You
Oh,
got to
yeah.
be able to breathe.
You might need 3 in a day if you do it that way, yeah.
Oh yeah,
So before first time you and I met, you were the owner of Under Pressure Power Washing.
yes sir.
How'd you get into that? Because we're gonna go to your previous job with Nortel, but how did you get into the power washing business? And you were there for 20 plus years, right?
Yeah, 20, well, right around 25, 24 and a partial. But yeah, that actually stemmed from being at Norton Telecom because at Norton Telecom, I worked on hardware and software support. I was engineer on the floor in 5 different buildings, always going to people that were having problems. So they was always mad. They was always upset. Nothing ever works right. You have to go in there and fix it for them, get them back up and working. And I did that for 21 years. So when I left there, I had told myself I was going to do something for people that made them happy.
Mm.
And the first thing I thought of was when I rented a power washer and washed my house and how happy it made my wife. And I was like, I think that's something there. You go there, you improve what they're looking at, and you make them happy.
Yeah.
And I just took off with that. And I did it for about a year with $6,000 in phone books, mailer ads, handing out flyers, the whole 9 yards. And after the end of about 18 months, I was wondering if I had made a huge mistake. And then I ran into April Tanzer, who was working with Bill when Bill was was still running Team Nimbus and he had all that other
Bill
stuff going on.
Davis, yeah, a
And
former
Bill
guest of
Davis,
the show. Yep.
yep. And they brought me into B&I, told me to take a look at it. They was trying to build a group, like we always say at B&I people. I went in and drank the Kool-Aid, and I've been there ever since.
I didn't know you went that far back with Bill. Good
Oh yeah, I
dude.
used to do the
Yeah.
job that you do and the job that Tony does.
Mhm.
I used to do that for Bill
Oh,
way back
nice.
when.
Okay,
Yeah, I
yep.
used to start up chapters. I had like 5 or 6 chapters. He kept me on this side of town most of the time. I had one in Wake Forest, but the rest of them were in Fuquay and in Garner. And
Yeah, I always, when I would work with Bill and go to his Team Nimbus training and stuff, I would always call him my BS detector because I could not get anything past that man. If he knew
no,
if I
you
didn't
can't.
believe it, I couldn't get it past.
Yeah, he's pretty special. I've taken a lot of his classes too. I mean,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a very very smart man.
Well, but I like the way he teaches or builds relationships because he'll hear us say something and he'll just kind of look at us and go, "Are you sure?" And then we'll have to think, well, but
Yeah,
just in a very professional way, but he gets to the point. So I liked him.
oh yeah,
I always enjoyed my time. I've not talked to him in a while, so I hope he's still doing good and still playing golf.
yeah, really.
So
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while.
was that a clean break into the under pressure power cleaning world from
Yeah,
Nortel?
I mean, basically, I was lucky because I left Nortel and position I was in the last 3 years was that years I was there. I didn't get a day off,
Ooh,
so they made a special alliance for me to be able to keep my vacation. I was getting 5 weeks of vacation a year, and I wasn't using any. I was getting 10 6 days a year, and I wasn't using any because I couldn't. I wasn't
wow.
there. But this stuff stopped running, and the whole line of people wouldn't be doing any work at all. So basically, when I left, I had I want to say it was almost 2 years of time they was paying me for.
Well,
So basically, I kept getting a check. Now, believe me, it was a different check because it was only 40 hours, and I hadn't done a 40-hour week in 20 years. It seemed like, but they paid me basically my base salary 2 years, and then once that was done, they since I was only 40 and I was too young to retire, they gave me a buyout. So I kept paying my bills, and every bit of money I made in the power washing business, I put right back into it. They tell you if you get in any business, you don't know if you're going to make it until you've been there at least 3 years at a minimum. Well, I had my year and a half or so in there, and I was floundering. I was worried. I was like, "Oh man, what am I going to do?" Like I said, I went to that BNI meeting. April Tanzer and me hooked up. She took me under her wing. First year, I about tripled what I had done on my own in 18 months. Second year, I tripled what I had tripled the year before. They had just started snowballing. And I mean, it got to the point where I never advertised. I'd never put anything in the phone book anymore. Never had to worry about putting out flyers by hand anymore. I mean, it was just, and I mean, and BNI at that time was probably 85% of my business. I mean, it was really, really good. And the people I met through BNI from people I got referred to in BNI just kept, getting bigger and bigger. And I mean, 15 years in, I had people that I had knew in BNI 12 years ago that wasn't even in the business anymore, didn't live in this area, and they're referring people around here to me.
wow.
I mean, it was great. Like they say, the cure for the common cold call. But I'll tell you what, I never had to do cold calling anymore. And that made me happier than anything.
Yeah, there you go. Was it your message or they just had no one like you to clean for them, and once they found you, they were never gonna let you go?
Well, that's kind of what it was. It wasn't my message. It was the way I did things and the way I thought of things. And even to this day, I think I'm probably the only one out there that did it like I did. When I was power washing, I give you a price for your house. That included the outside of your gutters, your house, your foundation, your front porch, your front steps, your front railing. I also washed the outside of your trash cans. I washed any outdoor furniture. I washed your septic system lids. I washed your mailbox. If you had a bird pole in your yard with a bird house on top of it, I would wash that. anything that was painted that was not like an extra, like a deck or an extra garage or, a play set or something like that. I included that at no extra charge. And
Wow.
the whole time I did my business, I never charged more than 10 cents a square foot for house. Even when gas got tight and everything, I just like, okay, well, I got to do an extra job every day to pay for that. And
Impressive.
yeah, it just got to the point where, I'd have people call up and say they really needed to get in. And I'm like, man, I'm like 6 weeks out. They said, well, this is for so and so. And I said, well, I can come by on a late Saturday afternoon if you already have everything out of the way so I can get in and out of there. And then I always bend over backwards try to help my customers. You
Did
know,
did
and
you
to this day, I have people call me and go, "Man, there never anybody like you. So we can't get nothing even close to the way you used to do it."
uh
Which always
did
makes you feel good.
did you work yourself into a no vacation, no sick day job there too?
Well, no, I always took. Thank goodness, our anniversary is November 1st. I always took my wife to the beach in Kitty Hawk. That's where we really love. We go for a week to 10 days every November 1st, and that was my only time I did not work during the year.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was doing daytime, doing nighttime. I had auto bill contracts, and I had Sam's Club contracts. All these different places you had to go out late at night and wash. And if I had things to wash that day, I'd just go home and take a nap and eat dinner, and then I'd go back out and work, and I'd get up in the morning, and go back to work anyway. I mean,
So
it was
once you
just
joined BNI and things started progressing, how long did it take you to hire somebody?
uh, probably I pretty much liked doing most of the things myself. But I'd say the last 8, 10 years, I hired helpers where they could, pull hose and set up stuff. And, while I'm talking to customers and making sure exactly what they want and everything, they could get everything all set up for me. And then if I was needing parts as I was going, they'd go to get the tools and the parts and bring them to me, and I'd fix it and keep going. But if I was doing concrete now, I'd turn them all loose on that sometimes. We had a surface cleaner, you just walked it like a lawnmower, so anybody could handle that. But I just didn't want anybody blowing seams in windows or blowing water underneath a door or something. You tell people and tell people and tell people, but unless they really do it, they don't understand it. Yeah.
Now, we always talk about, at least when I do the training, I just beg people not to say anyone or everyone because
Yep.
we may not think of anyone. As the business did grow, and even with specialties today, how did you start identifying a couple of your ideal clients?
Well, I think from me being in the power washing industry, I knew right off the bat there's special needs for people working outside. And the fact that I had already been in BNI for so many years, I mean, it was like second nature. I know that if I'm by a doctor's office or somewhere like that, I need to go in there and talk about scrubs and maybe face mask, and maybe certain kinds of shoes that they might want to try to get into, that type of thing. And if I'm, you know, with a business that's outside, you know, are your guys ready for the season that's coming? Like I say, the UV protection in the shirts and the different things like that. And if they're riding lawnmowers and all that kind of stuff, instead of a baseball cap, you want a flat floppy hat that gives you more, sun protection all the way around. I mean, the apparel that I get in several different places, I can handle about anything. I can give you a tracksuit for going out and jogging and running with your name on it if that's what you want. I mean, I can handle just about anything you can think of. Matter of fact, I have a window company that I'm going to talk to tomorrow that wants uniforms for all their guys. So they want certain color boots with the booties that they can pull on them.
Mhm.
They want pants. They want shirts. They want the little patches with their name on the front, the person's name, and then their logo on the back, and maybe some hats. And that's just what we do. Yeah, any way I can think to help. I mean, I've got one guy, a friend of mine, that just bought a local bar, and he wanted a lot of stuff for the bikers to wear. So I started, with okay, well, you need t-shirts, you need tank tops, you need sleeveless, you need long sleeve, you need sweatshirts, you need hoodies. I said, you're going to need beanies, you probably need ball caps. You're going to want beer huggers. You might want keychains. You might want some uh, glasses with your logo on them for them to keep at their bar or at their house. Just all the different things that go with it. I mean, do rags.
Yeah.
I mean, the ladies love the do rags. So it's just you got to personalize what you know about their business. And sometimes you'd have to go sit down there and talk with them. I have one friend that wants me to come to his business. I've never had anything to do with one of those. It was a HVAC company and the different things they have to deal with. And I told him, I said, man, I just like to come over there and hang out for a couple of days, a few hours a day, just to see exactly what you all are doing. I understand the outside part, but what do you do when you have to go inside somebody's home and you're putting in thermostats or you're pulling wires through a wall, all that kind of thing. There's just different things you need to know to be able to help them.
So did you when you left Nortel to start Under Pressure, what I always like to see what people brought from other jobs, processes, mindset, or whatever. So what'd you bring from there to Under Pressure?
Well, the thoroughness of cleaning things the right way. When I was in uh, Nortel, my boss was having a problem keeping uptime on equipment. And we started trying to figure out ways of doing PMs,
Mm.
like the mechanical side was easy for those guys because they go in, they put oil on this and oil on that, and they, take out their biker and make sure things, not worn down, all that kind of stuff. For the electronic side where I was at, it was totally different. You know, that was, okay, well, things heat up and then cool down and heat up and cool down. You got to make sure boards are seated. You got to make different things. So I told him, let me do an experiment. I said, we had these pterodines. They was $1.2 million a piece. We had 26 of them. I said, let me start an experiment. I said, I'll go on third shift and make a PM crew. I said, I'd like to have two guys with me to start with to see what we can do. I said, and we'll take 13 of the machines and we'll track all 26. We'll take 13 of the machines and let me clean them the way I think they need to be cleaned. And let's track our uptime. Well, within the first year, our uptime was up like 28% more. We was like, instead of running in the 70 range, we was running in the 94, 96 range most of the time.
Wow.
And to him, that was just unbelievable. So he took me and he goes, how many guys you need? He goes, I want you to write up plans, get it ready for OSHA, the OSI
Oh, yeah.
9001 compliant and all that. I got to use, I want you to write all that up. He goes, you'll be in charge of it. You'll be in charge of these guys. He goes, you'll run their schedules, when you can get equipment, when you can't. He says, and I want to see what we can get all of our uptime to. So within about 3 years' time, there was about 14 of us, I guess, that I was using. And we had all the production in the big building at RTP. We had all that up to about 98% uptime,
Nice.
which was just unheard of before. Then we had to try to span out into the other buildings. And that's when it got a little bit different because we had so much other stuff we had to keep
Mm.
up with in the other buildings. We had to do the conveyor work and the forklift trucks, and we took care of all the wireless stuff in the building. And it got kind of crazy. And I was like, I'm only one person. I can't do so much to get it all straight.
Is
I was the
there
last guy out of 126 guys that was still there at the end.
wow,
Yeah.
very impressive.
Yeah. I don't know if it was impressive or if it was stupidity.
A little bit of both, survival, right? All of the
Yeah.
above.
But
Yep.
I was still there. Yeah.
Uh, uh, so now with specialties apparel outside of B&I, I always like to find out from business owners 2 or 3 things each week they continue to do to get the word out.
Just different things I can think of and try to reinvent the wheel. Like what I'm working on right now is we have a local little pub here that me and my wife go up to once or twice a week and have a beer in the afternoon. And I got to noticing that they're always running out of coasters, always running out of coasters. I got to thinking about it. I said, I know probably 15 or 20 different restaurant bar owners. So I just called around, started asking them. They said, "Yes, the hardest thing to keep up with is this. Sometimes they'll bring us 5 or 6 reams, and then we won't see them for 6 months." And I was like, "Hmm."
Yeah.
So I went and looked that up to see how much that cost. And right now I'm in the process of printing up my logo with my phone number on it, and I'm going to have posters for like 10 different restaurants in the area.
Oh, they're gonna let you put your logo on it.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. So they said, "You provide them, put whatever you want on it." I said, "Okay." So I've got my little logo, the one I like the most. It's hard to print because there's so many colors, but it looks like a version of me in a hammock with a drink with a little cocktail flag in it. You see the ocean behind it, everything,
There
and
you
it
go.
says Specialties Apparel across the top.
Very
I
nice.
figure I'm going to put that with my phone number on it and then just have it out there. I mean, people can look at it and go, "Oh man,
Yep.
yeah, I can get somebody to take the thing and put it right in their pocket."
Oh,
Boom.
yeah. Yeah, people will walk out with there's some things people will walk out of places with, and coasters are one of
Yep.
them. Yeah.
Yep.
Uh,
Especially like this because it seems like a beach thing. You know what I
yes.
mean? I made it to where it looks like a beach thing, and when people at the beach, they go crazy picking up stuff like that. So I'm just hoping to kind of, oh man, that's kind of neat. I need a couple of these for the house.
Yep. Yeah, because
You know,
sometimes a napkin just won't work for a coaster, will it?
no, had to
Uh,
put too much salt on it.
but I like the thinking though that you were just because your mind's always working. I know that about you, but just looking
Yep.
around is like, okay, yeah, and that's. But again, just be aware. If you're
Yep.
somewhere, just as a curious business owner, are you not just looking around to see maybe half of an opportunity? Because all that uh, restaurant owner was going to tell you was no.
Yep.
I mean, you've been told that before once or twice, right?
Oh yeah, many times. Didn't stop me. I
When
think that's another thing about Nortel. Brainstorming. They always
yeah,
taught you to brainstorm, brainstorm. So every idea up there that you have, let it stick to the wall and then look at them and take the ones that don't make any sense away.
yep,
And then what you have left, develop, work on, tune it in until it works the way you want it.
I like it. I like it. When was the last time you did cold calling for any business?
Probably 2001.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't like nothing about cold calling.
No.
Even when I was doing power washing,
Yeah.
people used to laugh at me because you know how salespeople are.
Mm,
You sell, you sell, you sell, you sell, you sell
yep.
until they tell you no. Well, I was just the opposite. I didn't like it when people did that to me. So I worked up your estimate. I emailed it to you. I sent you a text that said, "Hey, sent over your estimate." I said, "If you don't see it, please check your spam. If you don't see it there, call me back." And I said, "I will hand deliver you." That's the last time they heard from me. I had people say, "Man, ah, man, I got an estimate from you 6 months ago, man." He goes, "It just went to the side." He goes, "I just didn't think about it." He goes, "You should have called me." I'm like, dude, I said, "I'm not a high pressure
Yeah.
salesperson." I said, "There's way too much work out there. I don't need to be chasing somebody trying to make them do something." I said, "If you want it done, you'll call me. When you call me, you'll get my best."
Yeah,
So,
and that's, though, an interesting thing to pass on to newer business owners or anybody trying to grow a book of business is
yep,
where's that push point where, "Okay, I've said enough."
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm with you. I'll remind you, but I'm not gonna keep knocking on your door. "You need to buy this."
Yep,
You'll know. I don't buy anything on my front porch other than Girl Scout cookies. I don't buy anything on my front porch. So leave
uh,
me something, but I'm not buying right here. Let me think it through. But
yeah.
I,
And if you tell me I have to buy it right now, then it's something I don't need.
yep, yep, yep. I'm with you on that. All right. So we've talked about your wife, Leslie. So one of my favorite times of the show here is asking my married guests, how did you and Leslie meet? And do you both tell the story the same way?
Well, we met in the neighborhood where I had moved to. She hung out with some of her friends there, and we'd run into each other 2 or 3 times there, but never really paid any attention. I mean, no, I was young, I was wide open, running the roads all the time. If I wasn't on the Harley, I was in a 4-wheel drive truck sitting up in there, and she just thought I was kind of wild, I think. But then my best friend's girlfriend became her best friend, and they were hanging out. And I came home one day, and they came over and said, "Hey, why don't you come on over here and talk to us, man? We haven't seen you in a while." And I'm like, "Okay." And I went over there, and she was sitting there. We got to talking, got to talking, got to talking. Next thing I know, it's 10 hours later. This was a Sunday. I worked third shift. I have to be be leaving in about an hour to go to work, and I haven't even slept. And I just kind of looked at my buddy's girlfriend. I said, "Why don't you find out what she's doing tomorrow? Tell her I'd like to cook her dinner." She goes, "Oh, okay." And she texted me later and said, "Hey, she said she'd come eat dinner. What time do you want her to swing by?" And I said, "Just tell her anytime she's ready." I said, "I'll have dinner ready around 6." She said, "Okay." And she came and ate dinner, and we went out on a couple of dates. And I'd say probably 3 months later, we moved in together. And 10 months later, we got married. And that was 39 years ago, last November 1st.
Very nice. All right. I like that. What did you cook for her?
Oh, well, I was always a seafood cook when I was at the beach before Nortel. And I think we had shrimp that I did. I like to do them on the stovetop, and I'll peel everything back, tails and everything, and I put them in there, and then lightly do them with a garlic olive oil. And then when I take them out, I throw them in a Ziploc bag and throw in my oh, with age comes some timers.
I'm with you.
I have Old Bay. I put a
Old Bay,
sprinkle
yep.
of Old Bay and a sprinkle of garlic, and then I just shake them up real good.
Mhm.
Close the bag off, put everything else on the plate. I usually like to make some sriracha coleslaw when I'm doing the shrimp or the fish when we're making tacos, then have steamed tortillas and just kind of hooked it up like that. And she was like, she couldn't believe that something like that tasted so good. So here's another thing about it. When I went to meet her parents, it happened to be they was having a family reunion and everybody was coming down from the Real Peninsula of Michigan. And then there was a couple of them that lived right here in Fuquay. So me being part redneck that I am, I went and grabbed a pig cooker, threw it on the tailgate of my buddy's truck. He's got a honcho on 44s. We roll up into there with this pig cooker, and I'm throwing out cases of chicken and getting everything set up. And they're looking at me like, "Who is this man?" And then I cooked all my chickens and I had all my sides going, the boiled potatoes, the green beans, and all that stuff going on top of the grill. Cooked up a case and a half of chicken quarters. Uh, we got done with the thing, everything. They all come together. All her brothers come over and said, "Well, you know what?" Said, "You better not hurt her." But other than that, man, welcome to the family. How many of these parties you drove?
Yeah, dancing and cooking, 2 skills most males should have, at least one of them, because
Oh yeah,
that
yeah,
always helps.
and I was always a good dancer, and I always loved dancing.
There you go,
Yep.
man. So did you know at the dinner this relationship was going somewhere, or did you know the day before during the 10-hour hanging out session?
Well, I knew something was different because I never really spent that much time talking to a woman. It never kept my interest talking that long. If you know what I mean, it was just like I said. I was wide open running the roads. I was all about go, let's go. We're doing something. Let's don't. Let's whatever. Move on. But I mean, it was just something. I was like, man, I never met anybody like her in my life.
There you go. Well, congrats on the yeah, my wife and I are coming up on 40 in July, so it's
Oh, awesome.
yeah, it's the best, man. I was talking with somebody the other day, a little bit younger than us, because you and I are the same age, a little bit younger than us. I told him I could not imagine he's single, and I said I could not imagine dating today. I would not
Oh
want
no,
any
this
part
day
of
and
that.
time,
Yep.
no,
No. I'm not about to nothing against websites, but I don't, I'm not gonna hang out on these dating sites or whatever, gray
no.
hair, gray R us or something like that.
That seems more like meat marketer or
I
something
know,
than
yeah.
it does, you know,
Yeah.
trying to find a relationship.
And I have a hard enough time getting some people in B&I to put their real picture up there, not their one from 18 years ago. It's like, I would not have recognized you if we met at Panera, and that was the only picture I had of you, so what was the, best thing about going to Manio High School?
It was small. My graduating class was 81 people.
Jeez.
Uh, very, very family clannish down there. When I first moved down there, because of my dad and them changing their last name when he was younger, they were all Lees now. His original father was a Daniels who owned a big part of Wanchese, and he pardoned it off into lots and gave the Daniels some, gave the Tillett some, gave the Midget some, gave the Twitties some for their families. He gave it the lots to the older people, and they were supposed to partition it out to their young ones.
Okay.
Well, I went down there. They was real clannish. Nobody was talking to me at school. It was just like, man, I said, I can't believe this. I know it's small, but I mean, come on. And this one girl, Nettie Midget, she came up to me and she goes, "So what are you even doing here?" I'm like, "Well, my dad's becoming a commercial fisherman." She goes, "Yeah, but how do y'all even know about this place?" She goes, "We're just all family down here." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And I said, "And most of you all have gotten a lot of stuff from my grandfather." She goes, "Who's your grandfather?" I said, "Captain George C. Daniels." She
Uh,
goes, "Captain Daniels? Really?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "He gave all our families land." I said, "Yeah, I know." I said, "But tell you what, you wouldn't know it around here. Nobody even wants to talk to me." Well,
nice.
within 2 weeks, man, I had everybody and their brother was talking to me. So
That's
it was kind of funny,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I still go there for the class reunions. We take our trips down there. I call my buddy that owns a fish house there, and he always comes over and sees us while we're down there, and it's just really it's like hometown.
Yep.
I mean, it's just no matter how long you're gone, you can pull up somebody's yard and they'll invite you in the house. You go in there and sit down and start watching TV and talking like you've never been gone.
How old were you when you moved there?
I was 13,
Right. So
14.
then this will qualify for my question from small towns, which I grew up here, so I know nothing
Yeah.
of a small town. How many times did the story beat you home before you got home and your mom and
Oh,
dad
just
knew?
about every time. Just about every time,
That's what I hear. Yep.
especially if it was bad.
Yep. Yep. And if they're good parents, they're going to give you enough rope to hang yourself, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
my
That's good
dad, my
parenting.
dad, my dad never put any limits on me. He said, "But you pay for what happened.
Yep.
You got to know that."
Yep.
He goes, "So if you decide to do something, you better make sure it was worth it."
Good parenting. Yep. I like it. All right. So now it's time for the no overthinking round. Gonna give you a few
Okay.
questions, have a little fun, okay?
All right.
Snow or no snow? Which camp are
You
you
would have
in?
asked me that 3 years ago. I would have said snow, snow, snow. Uh, Now that I've got so much arthritis, I say no snow.
Yep. It is hard, especially with steps, yep.
Yep.
What is something people assume about your business that is totally wrong?
That you're making tons of money off of what you do
Yeah, because
because I'm purposely doing mine different. What I'm doing is I only do it in BNI. I'm not putting up a website. I'm not putting up Facebook. I didn't want to do all that. I'm semi-retired. I wanted to treat it like that. I didn't want to end up working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, trying to keep it down around 20, trying. But yeah, I mean, I just like even with my church, everything I do at my church, I do at cost. And
nice,
some of it I just do it, pay for it, and give it to them. But
nice.
that's where I've been telling a lot of people I like churches because if it's not my church, I'd probably mark it at 5%. That's mostly for getting it together and delivering it. And that way they can get such a good deal, they can do so much more with it.
Yep.
You know.
All right, for the folks listening, if you got a church, we've been putting Ed's number up there. You now know who to call to get
Yep.
quality products at a really good price. So,
Oh yeah.
uh, if they make a movie about you and your life, who's going to play you?
I would have said Jackie Gleason, but he's not around anymore.
I appreciate that. I don't know how many people watch it are, but I appreciate that answer. Yes.
Yeah. Well, most people probably don't even know who he is,
Nope.
but
Nope.
news stars, I don't even know. Uh,
It could be somebody
I,
our age. That's fine.
oh yeah. Okay.
Yep. Is your email inbox organized or chaotic?
Organized.
Nice. Always been that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, you got to remember, I come from Nortel, and I had 5 different buildings, and I had 5,000 different pieces of equipment.
Yeah,
If you didn't have it organized, man, you'd never get anywhere.
I hear you. Back when you managed teams and people, What's
Yep.
one word they would use to describe you?
Loyal.
Nice.
I would
Okay.
never do any. I would never ask anybody to do anything I wouldn't do myself.
Yeah, man. I tell a story. I had a boss one time, and we were cleaning up an event site. We had back in my sports days. And I said, "Hey, can you get that box warmer in for me?" And he was the VP, and he goes, "No, man, I don't do that." I'm thinking, I turn around, I'm like, "You got to be kidding me, man." So,
Yep.
not a fan of that. Are you a mountains person or an oceans person?
Ocean much more, yes, but I love the mountains too. But yes, definitely the ocean.
And so this is actually for you and Leslie, morning or evening people, or are you opposites?
Uh, we used to be mourning a lot, but now that we're like in, well, she's been in retirement for about 8 years now. We take our mornings pretty easy. I mean, she gets up and does her Bible study and stuff. We don't eat breakfast till about 9:30, and then after that we get busy. And if we're out and about, we'd like to be off the road before dark,
Yep,
that type thing.
I'm with you. For 2026 calendar year, what's the one thing you're most excited about for your business?
Uh, just seeing how far I can take it. Because I mean, I'm looking at that. I'm hoping I can take it pretty far the way I'm doing it. But I am living on Social Security, so I can't make but so much money. So I'm
Yep.
hoping anything I make over that is going to go into my church.
Oh, very
So
nice.
you know, that
Very
way
nice.
I don't get in trouble and keep helping the Lord.
There you go. I like it. For the folks watching today, uh, if somebody wants to start a business, not necessarily a power washing or an apparel company, okay? They want to start a business. What if, through your experiences, what's one or two things they need to either keep in mind or have in place to get off to a good start?
Well, they need to investigate it to make sure it's something that they know they want to do. That's the some of the biggest things I saw with people starting stuff was they didn't even realize what it was going to encompass, and then they wasn't in a position where they could really get it started, so they ended up losing everything. So I'd say it's learn the business that you're thinking about going into, find its ups and downs, find a few people that do it, and maybe talk to them, interview them, ask them what they would have done different when they started. I mean, people that are good out there that want to help people will talk to you about things like that. You'll find some people that tell you it's none of your business, but
Yeah.
I think all in all, a lot of people will like help.
I agree with you. I think most people, yeah, I think more people than not they've got that scarcity mentality. It's like, well, why would I want to talk to one of my client my excuse me my competitors? I'm like, I think you're missing the point.
Well, see, that's one thing where my mind works different. It was really funny in power washing. Everybody said, "Why are you talking with these power washers? Why are you working with these power washers?" I'm like, because they're not my competition. My only competition is myself.
Yep,
What I do or don't do or how hard I go after it. The only competition I have is myself. I said, there's nothing that they're going to do to me that's going to make me less of what I can do. And a lot of people didn't understand that, but I was like, no, competition is only what you limit yourself to.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Do you have a recommendation for people for how much money they would have to have set aside to assume they're not going to make any money for a little bit on a brand new business?
Well, I'd have to say you have to look at what your bills are, your overall bills, and then think about things like car breaking down or how old is your furnace, how old is your AC unit in your house, these type of things. And then at a minimum, you need to have three times that much just so you can start in your business because I can guarantee you for unless you have just a remarkable type of business, most businesses, you're not going to start showing enough profit to put anything in your pocket for at least 24 months to 36.
Yep.
I mean, that's
Yep.
because you got to buy all, no matter what profession you go into, you got to buy the tools, you got to buy the back end, you got to buy the insurance, you got to get your name registered, you got to get, you uh, SEO equipment and just all the different things you're going to need, credit card machines, just all little different things you don't think about when you're first starting up a business.
Yeah, I'm with you. But I like the fact that you mentioned you got to kind of investigate what you're going into. So, like, oh, I love cutting grass. I'm going to do that. Have you priced
Yeah.
equipment, right? And you bought enough equipment. You know that comes at you fast, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, real fast.
Nice. All
Especially
right.
when you blow a motor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, anyways,
One of
Ed,
the
enjoyed having you on the show today, folks. We've been putting Ed's phone number on the screen here. So, if you need your house looking, or excuse me, if you need your business looking
well, I can
the,
hook them up with
I
somebody.
know you can. Yep. But if you need your business looking the best they can look, you now know who to call. And if your church is looking for stuff, you need to
He's more
call
than
Ed.
glad to help them.
You need to call Ed because that is one of his passions.
Yep.
And he knows what he's doing. And he knows people because you're going to have a follow up question. Oh, yeah, Ed, by the way, before you leave, do you know a so and so? And the answer is going to be yes. That's what type of guy Ed is. So please give him a call. Ed, good luck in 2026. Hope you get more time at the beach this year. I'm
Oh yeah.
assuming you guys will go a few times, right?
Uh, I don't know.
All
Just
right.
depends on how things are going.
Okay. Well, I hope they're going
Yeah.
good enough to get you there. So, anyways,
Oh yeah.
we've had a good time on the show with you today, and we'll
Oh,
see
I enjoyed it.
everybody. We'll see everybody next time on Capital to the Coast BNI.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com and DeltaForce.net.